xxx-tentacion is a dead rapper. He was also a brutal, violent abuser who apparently beat his pregnant girlfriend half to death, allegedly stabbed like 7 or 8 other people. He was, it may shock you to learn, he was shot and robbed while carrying 50 grand in cash several months ago. So he's dead now. This is, I guess, supposed to be some sort of tragedy that this violent, brutal abuser died. You know, he was a violent man who met a violent end, just as Jesus predicted: live by the sword, die by the sword. Live as an abusive, violent monster, die at the hands of abusive, violent monsters. That's kind of how this works. So when I think it was, like I said, several months ago, this guy died. When I heard he died, well, okay, that's what happens to people like that. I have to admit, I didn't quite shed a tear over it. The fact that he was an abusive, violent abuser who also rapped, it doesn't make it any more tragic. I mean, the fact that he could rap does not compensate for the monster, the monstrous behavior that he engaged in, allegedly. So that was my thought. Anyway, Dina Hashem made a joke about this guy's death, but the joke, as all jokes do now, sparked controversy, and eventually it was apparently pulled from a Comedy Central. Her set was supposed to air on Comedy Central. They said they were going to pull that joke because people were offended by it. So let me play for you this very offensive, terrible joke that this comedian told about the guy. Here's the joke.
Is anyone still mourning xxx-tentacion? He's a rapper who was murdered. He's dead now. He was shot. He was on his way to buy a car with $50,000 in cash, and somebody shot him and took the money, which is very tragic. But I think also it would be a very good Venmo commercial. You know? That's the first thing I thought when I heard that. Like, I don't have Venmo. I should get Venmo.
Okay, that's the joke. I think it's a clever joke. It's a good joke. It's kind of morbid, black humor, dark humor. That I think dark humor is not only okay, not only acceptable, but necessary in a society. You've got to be able to tell jokes about it. That's like a sort of common human instinct, is to tell jokes about tragic things. Death in general is a tragic thing. I'm not sure that I would call it a tragedy that this particular guy, given the lifestyle that he led, died. But regardless, it's dark, morbid humor, and that we need to be able to tell those kinds of jokes. I think it's necessary. That's a service that comedians provide. It's an important service, is finding the humor in things that on the surface don't appear to be funny at all. That's their job. It's what they do. And that's the really clever comedians. That's how you know if someone is an especially clever comedian, is if they can find situations that do not appear to be on the surface funny. Now, if it's a situation that everyone can tell is funny, then you don't even need to tell a joke about it because we all get it. But to find the thing that doesn't seem funny and to find the humor in it, that's the whole gig as a comedian, it seems to me. But people are offended now by that, because people are offended by everything. And this is why you just can't, you can't give the whiners and the outrage mob an inch. I think we have to be at a point now where we just completely ignore them. We don't care about your feelings. We don't care about your perspective on this. We just don't care. I mean, you're offended, great. I honestly don't care at all. It does not matter. I think that has to be our message. Your feelings don't matter about this. They really don't. I know we're raised that, how do you dare you say my feelings don't matter? Well, they don't. I mean, a lot of times your feelings don't matter. They're feelings. Feelings can be irrational. They're often irrelevant. They don't matter to me. Why should I care? I mean, you could have feelings that people should care about, depending on the situation, right? I mean, if you suffer the loss of a loved one and you're sad about that, then we should care about those feelings. But in general, every last little emotion that pops into your head, no, we don't have to care about that. So when it comes to this, xxx-tentacion, he wasn't your loved one. He's just a guy that rapped. And apparently his loved ones, he was in the habit of beating. So if he was a loved one of yours, I doubt that you love him that much. Certainly, apparently didn't love you that much. So this is just ridiculous. It was a fine joke.